The holidays can be a busy time of get-togethers, running around, and celebration, but they can also be a time to unwind and relax with a good book, or perhaps gift a good book. This morning, I'm joined by both Chris Hall and Kathleen Bergen of McNally Robinson Booksellers with their picks for what to read in this month of December. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey there. Well, Chris, I'd like to begin with you.
Sure.
What do you have queued up for us this month?
Well, the first book is local, or relatively local, a local fellow, Mike Grandmaison. He's one of the best local photographers. A number of books. If you've seen a Manitoba book or parts of Western Canada, mostly a little bit of Ontario, it very well could be Mike Grandmaison's photographs that you're looking at. This one is called The Polar Bear. And so this is a journey he took to Churchill, and he's got some amazing photographs of polar bears in this book. If you flip through, as we were before we came on air, and they're just fascinating how he gets these animals. Well, obviously he doesn't get them to. They do what they want. But he waits for them to get into some pretty amazing poses and
well, we were chatting about it and flipping through the book, and Mike, really just I have the utmost respect for wildlife photographers. They are some of the most patient people out there. I remember when I was in photo school, another book of Mike's was brought in, and really just one of these superb landscape wildlife photographers here, not only in the province but in the country. And I'm sure if people have been in a let's say a business, an office, a public space, they've probably seen Mike's images before, and these ones some of the most stark and intimate as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As you flip past it, he's got the polar bears playing and obviously looking for food, but there's no sense that it's near civilization, or they really look like they're in their zone. And
he's also written a text to accompany the photographs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He talks a little bit about the landscape, and there's also photographs of the landscape and the flora and fauna that they live with. But so yes, there's you learn lots about the polar bears, as well as get to have a look at them.
So from the polar bear of the Great North, next, I think we're off to a small town in Crosby, Maine. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a book called Olive Again. It's a novel. It's by Elizabeth Strout. Elizabeth Strout's written a number of novels, including My Name is Lucy Barton and Anything is Possible. Her most best-known novel is called Olive Kittredge. It won the Pulitzer Prize and was picked up by Oprah as her book club pick that she still does, but used to do it in a big way. So this is about 12 years ago that she did this. And we continue to sell it to this day, and that usually is an indication of a good book selling by word of mouth. And so this new novel picks up the story of Olive Again, thus the title. And a decade later, she's in her second marriage. And it's not so much the story that is important here. It's about the people, and she's just really good, Elizabeth Strout, that is, of detailing the inner lives and the outer lives of people, of real people in everyday lives, just living, basically.
Yeah, just a sort of commentary, right? As is noted, to startle us, the reader, to move us, to inspire us.
Yeah, exactly. And I've talked many times in this show, because I think about things this way, that it's got that combination, what I describe as commercial appeal, which is plot. Things are happening. Right. But it's also got what I think of as literary, where it's about character. It's about why things happen. It's about how this is affecting people. And so it's got something for a lot of different readers. And there's a lot of different kinds of readers that read Elizabeth Strout.
Well, I think that segues nicely into this last one. Speaking, this is something literally for everyone. The Body, A Guide for Occupants.
Yes.
What a great title that is by Bill Bryson.
Bill Bryson, yes. If you know Bill Bryson, then you're already smiling. He's a very funny author. He's best known for his early books on travel, In a Sunburned Country about Australia, A Walk in the Woods about his attempt to walk the Appalachian Trail in the U.S. He's most recently written about random other topics, things like our relationship to our homes, Shakespeare, and nearly everything, in a book called A Short History of Nearly Everything. And now he turns his humorous eye to our bodies, his body and our bodies. He says, we pass our existence within this wobble of flesh and yet take it almost entirely for granted. So he's out to cure us of that indifference, and he discusses how the body functions, how it heals, how it unfortunately fails. He's a real pleasure to read. He's amusing is the word that comes to mind. Although you'll laugh out loud as well, and the anecdotes he tells are second to none.
A wobble of flesh.
I know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I imagine you also learn something by reading the
You
book too,
absolutely
right?
learn
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
He's not frivolous. He's you're going to learn something, but in the best of ways.
That's the best way to learn, isn't it?
I think so.
So hanging out with you here in the studio has been Kathleen. Hey, Kathleen, welcome to the new Classic 107 studio. It's been a while since you were in, so it's a pleasure to have you back. I mean, it's that time of the year where we're in gift-giving mode, right? And maybe there's a kid who already has everything. You're here from the children's section of McNally Robinson Booksellers, managing all of that. Tell us a little bit about what you have queued up for us this month heading into the holiday season.
Okay, so I've brought in 2 books. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Sunny Day. It's a celebration of the Sesame Street theme song.
Yeah, I think we're all humming it in our head right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the lyrics to the Sesame Street theme song. So if you want to sing it when you're reading, you absolutely can. And it is illustrated by 18 different prominent children's illustrators. So they each have a different full-page spread.
Wow.
In all these different art styles. So it's a beautiful, like, it could be something that you keep on your shelf. It is like a treasured keepsake. But it's also just great to, like, sit down and read through the book and hum the song and, like, connect the generations together, because everyone has watched Sesame Street for the last, 50 years?
Yeah, it's very true, and it sounds like something that everyone can enjoy. By no means is this just for the kids. I mean, the artwork in the book looks stunning.
That's right. It's quite beautiful. And I had a thought, but I lost it.
That's fine. We can find it again later. So, of course, for half a century, everyone has enjoyed Sesame Street, it seems. From there, where are we off to? This seems a little bit newer, based on at least the title. It sounds like something if people have enjoyed Frozen or perhaps How to Train Your Dragon, this seems like it might be a good fit as well.
That's right. The next thing I have is a novel. It's for about ages 8 to 12. It's called The Voyage of the Frost Heart, and it is very much in the spirit of the season. It is set in a wintry world covered in snow seas, and in the snow seas live these monsters called leviathans. So humanity has been relegated to different strongholds above the snow seas, and they're connected by pathfinders who drive these huge, like, boat sleighs over the snow seas to, like, bring goods to trade between the different strongholds. So this is telling the story of Ash, who is sort of an outcast because he likes to sing, and the Leviathans communicate by singing. So everybody thinks that if he sings, he could be taken over by the Leviathans. But actually, it turns out that maybe his power could be used to calm down the Leviathans instead. Who knows?
Who knows? Two singing sort of picks.
It's true.
Which is kind of nice when you come into Classic 107 with some music selections. I mean, thanks so much for doing that.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Definitely appreciate it. I guess the last thing I want to ask you both is, we are, again, heading into this holiday season, a time of oftentimes gift giving. And sometimes people want to give the gift of a new read or something like that. If people are looking for new reads, I imagine you're going to encourage them to come into the McNally Robinson Booksellers. As always, there's new stuff going on. If people are looking for something new, either in the kids section or for you, Chris, just in the broader bookstore, how do you go about approaching gifting a book and finding something for another reader, whether they're younger or perhaps more experienced?
Well, my first question is when somebody asks me is what are they interested in? I always start there. The bookstore is full of books from a variety of angles in life. So if somebody's into cars, there's books on cars. If somebody's into sports, there's books on sports. And then there's different variations on that. So you can have a novel that is interesting to somebody in a particular way. I'm fond of saying that everyone takes their own journey through the bookstore because you're a unique path and series of books that you might be interested in reading. And then there's the element of giving them something that you've thought of and that you think they might enjoy. It's an attempt to, or an opportunity to kind of share your own interests with a person if there's some common ground that you can find. So there's lots of ways. We have these books, incidentally, are all from our Books of the Season catalog. So that's a great place to start if you're coming into the store. They're around through various locations in the store. Pick one up, flip through it. I think there's a variety of topics, and you'll spot something that Uncle so-and-so is, he loves that.
Yeah. Such a personal gift. Books are.
It can be, yeah.
Kathleen, I imagine it's the same for younger readers, right? Just finding that interest and gifting it over to them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great. Even if you just know a little bit about what a kid is interested in, it's a bit harder to find a book for a kid if you just know their age and gender, But we can still do that.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Always a pleasure seeing you, Chris. Kathleen, thanks for making your way in this morning. I was just in conversation with Chris Hall and Kathleen Bergen of McNally Robinson Booksellers. We've got their selections for the December edition of What to Read up on the website, classic107.com, with all the appropriate links.